Welcome to Sound Body, Sound Voice, where we join strength and fitness with vocal narration. And now, here are our hosts. I'm Joe Lesh, and this is...
I am Tycho Bergquist.
Hey, you going to use the last name today?
Just because you did.
I only knew you as Tycho, and now you're a Bergquist.
Well, my last name means mountain twig, and I'm a drummer, so it kind of works.
Oh, really?
You know, my first name means drums in Japanese.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Tycho.
Tycho is drums in Japanese?
Yeah.
Man, I thought it was just a cool name like Tycho, and I used MoJoe, get your MoJoe working, get your Tycho working.
MoJoe rising.
So you were a drummer originally, right? When you came to Nashville?
That's how this all started.
All right, tell me about it.
Yeah. So basically about 30 years now, I've been playing drums, and I love drumming. I love music. It was kind of like my physical outlet growing up. I didn't really have a desire for athletic pursuits. I tried them, but it was kind of just because I felt like I had to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then when I found the drums, I had been playing violin for 5 years and taking a break from music. And I just realized that I was dancing with my hands and my feet. Uh-huh. And I didn't think about it that way, but that's how it felt.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, I was like, how can I make it better? And I ended up in the gym sometimes, and I realized the gym makes me better at drumming. And then lo and behold, I was like, well, how do I get myself in the gym more? Mm-hmm. Teach it.
So you went from drumming to being a drummer to a fitness coach.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then the 1 year that I was doing both was back in 2011 and 2012, a year of staying up until about 1 or 2 or 3 sometimes, doing semi-professional touring around, and then waking up at about 4 or 5 or 6 and working my 2 training jobs. And I was like, which way do I go with this? The healthier route or the musical route? And I can always play music, and the healthier route took precedence. So here I am.
Yeah, well, very good. I remember back when I was playing in Vegas some years ago, we would be playing or entertaining at the Golden Nugget or at the Sahara, and we would be playing till 1, 2, or 3 o'clock in the morning, so I can relate to those early hours.
Definitely sleeping at the gym I was working at.
Yeah.
Didn't work out so well, but I had to do it because I was so tired, and I was like, if I don't, I won't make it. So it's kind of like a moment of like, got to go one way with this.
Yeah. Back when I was a kid, my favorite drummer was Karen Carpenter. Of course, I met her when she was just 14. We were all in high school wondering what the future was going to look like, and she was a fabulous drummer. That's before your time, but you can look her up. Do a Google search. Karen Carpenter.
Joe's favorite.
I've been over to see your facility. It looks really amazing. It's wonderful what you've done with your place.
You too.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, this is my playground here. You guys can't quite see the sound booth. It's back there behind you. If you turn around, just look behind you. That doesn't work either, does it? They can't see it. Okay.
They gotta trust us.
Tell me a little bit about your services that you offer.
Cool. Well, I've been doing this now 14 years. The first year was what I was talking about, where I didn't sleep, but I got it all done. And after about 11 years of working, so I did work in the East Coast, in Boston, where I'm from, and then in the West Coast, in San Francisco and Berkeley. And about 11 years into it, I realized that people were hitting a similar experience of, plateaus. Mm-hmm. Same either couldn't come back because something would show up, or they would get injured or something. Mm-hmm. And it's common. It's not like I was noticing this just with my clients, but it was something that I wanted to investigate because behind the scenes, I'm kind of a nerd, and it feels good to know like how to do things better and be efficient. So I was like, okay, what is the thing that's happening here? What about it makes them not want to do it? Mm-hmm. And so I realized that there was something, and that something I kind of thought about, maybe it's kind of like I can have people work in like the Buddhist context and like meditate.
Buddhist context?
Or
context.
Yeah, the idea of like getting quiet with yourself and being like, why am I hitting a plateau? Okay. Right? But that's kind of like, a little bit too woo-woo, right? It's just like, just get quiet and think about it. It's like, nobody cares. I mean, sure, some do. But so I was like, okay, so what is the thing that gets people to really know it? And I had been working with this coach for myself because I'm always learning new ways to get myself better and be more efficient with my brain and my body. And lo and behold, I ended up on this experience that is based in the human potential movement. So the human potential movement is based in the idea, starting in the 70s, basically like Aldous Huxley, the writer, he kind of started it. And it has to do with the idea that people, humans, are better when they're living their potential. Mm-hmm. And I think that we can basically all agree on that. It's like, be your potential. Sure. But it's based in the idea of psychology and like how does the mind work to get potential. So people would kind of scientifically like try to ask questions and figure things out. And after about, it's now been 50 years, it's kind of been perfected. So a guy named Jonathan Rice and Carl Buchheit, his master student, and they worked together, and Carl Buchheit's taken it on with Carla Camus in Marin, California. And they basically do this experience of asking questions and getting answers to get people into their subconscious, where they find out that they've been choosing something that they usually didn't like. So I'll give you an example. So a lot of people think about how like they can't get enough money. This is a common thing in our culture, right? And our culture is about money. It's a capitalist society, so it's kind of ironic. But the thing is, people think in terms of lack. And there was a moment in most people's lives where they thought they shouldn't have enough. And that can be often even in the womb, like their mother talking to them, or when they're usually around like 2 or 3, formative years. So basically what happens is with this work, you notice how people speak, how they talk, what their eyes do, and then you can pinpoint that moment. So an obvious example is like if I'm talking to somebody, say it's you, and we're talking about money, and you decide, I would like this, and then I find the moment when it started when it wasn't that way, and you decided that you needed to have a lack of money.
Sure.
Right? And that will happen, and then what will happen is I change that to be the way you want it. I'm good with having a lot of money. And then you grow that little child up to now as if they had lived that way, and they experience things differently. Mm-hmm. So there's been research done in Stanford University, 2016, I believe was the year. And so it's been experiential, but it's also, like for me personally, but it's also been shown to have these amazing effects where sometimes you have the experience of things changing permanently. The difficulty is that we all have this reptilian brain that tells us we should keep having the same problem because we didn't die from it. That's why drug addiction is so difficult to overcome, because the reptilian brain says, but it didn't kill me, so I keep doing it. But it didn't kill me. So when we switch it, it has to be able to integrate and stay there, which comes a lot from being able to trust, say, the facilitator. That would be me in this case, right?
Sure.
But what I'm doing is I'm adding that to fitness, because fitness, well, a lot of it is because it's getting his heart back, but also because it's noticing where it really starts, not where people are like, well, I just want my six-pack, or I just want my big booty or something, right? So I get to that moment. After half an hour, I take a pause, and then I use precise nutrition and fitness programming for an hour, like you think of in fitness coaching, and I implement what they really want now.
Okay. Well, vocal health is very important in my business. There are warm-ups that people should do, and audiobooks, for example, require stamina.
Yes.
So if you're going to be doing short-form narration, such as commercials, long-form narration would be audiobooks. And so sometimes you could be in the booth for hours at a time. And if you're not up to it, if you don't have the health for it, then you should stay away from that sort of work.
Yeah. So do you train people for this kind of stamina?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to start people off with short-form narration type projects. It could be character voices, corporate narration, commercials, but that's where they should start so they can learn their software. There's some mental health about that too, learning the software, learning something new. And generally, that's where people start to fail. Because, oh, I've got to learn this now. I've got to learn that. It's the same thing with fitness. I've got to do this exercise. I've got to do that exercise. I've got to take time for this and time for that. Well, it's the same thing with any profession. If you want to get good at it, if you want to see those results, you got to work at it.
Practice makes better.
That's right.
They say perfect, but that's not possible. That's just a goal, right? So, Joe, what got you into being a voice coach?
I was a ventriloquist when I was 7, from 7 to 10. And I used to come up with different voices for my dummies. The other kids would be out playing baseball, and I'd be at home coming up with character voices. And years later, that would come into play when I was doing music for a Disney project, and I wound up being several voices on the project because I happened to be ready with a lot of character voices that they didn't know that guy that was working on the music behind the scenes had voices in him. Studying acting at the Pasadena Playhouse as I wanted to be an actor. I just happened to fall into some things that kind of sidelined me, but music took over. And that was okay, because I enjoyed that too.
So now you can kind of do it, but teach it, so you're still in it.
Yeah.
And you're playing.
Yeah. And years later, when I was working for an advertising company, there were lots of possibilities for auditions that were available through the advertising company. And I did national ads for Toyota and Ford and Chevy and Folgers. And during the 90s, I was on-camera spokesperson for Philips Magnavox. And then really, voiceover took over my music about 1989 or 90. I had the same manager as this young girl whose name was Reese Witherspoon. And my manager said, I got this young girl coming over. They want to hear her. She's up for a Monday night movie of the week, and they want to hear her do her lines without a Southern accent. And I said, well, send her over. I'll see what I can do. And she was well on her way to losing her accent. She was brilliant. She was only 14 years old. She was making all of her own reservations on her cell phone in 1989. You can imagine.
The Reese Witherspoon?
Yes. Reese Witherspoon. And that cell phone in 1989 looked like a World War II walkie-talkie. But she was very impressive. And she still had a couple of little things about right instead of right. Just minor stuff. And we got those ironed out. We recorded her lines, and she got that Monday night movie of the week. That's when I realized that I would be interested in teaching. One thing led to another, and the next thing I knew, I was doing all voiceover work, and I'd much rather act for the microphone than for the camera.
So Reese Witherspoon is the impetus to you officially being a voiceover coach?
She was what I enjoyed working with her so much. I thought, hey, this is all right. I could do this again. And so eventually I started doing a lot more of it.
In the experience of music obviously being a part of voiceover, how does music play a role in your voiceover coaching now? I
feel like music and narration go hand in hand. They both have a rhythm. They both have kind of feel. As a storyteller, songwriters are storytellers. Singers are storytellers. They've got a story to tell through their voice. We have a story to tell through our voice. So I'm still singing, still playing with a band, and enjoying music along the way. But narration is my love. I love doing that.
Specifically narration, but telling stories. And you do that in all kinds of ways. And then you help others tell their stories.
Yes.
So how does it satisfy you? Is the experience for you in voiceover coaching about helping people tell their stories, or what is the satisfaction? Well,
the satisfaction is helping people to become more conversational in their dialogue, because many people just kind of tighten up when the microphone's on. They freak out.
Too many matches.
I'm recording. Too many mistakes. I have to say that again. But it's just being yourself, really. It comes down to being yourself. But when you become yourself, it's easier to take on other characters, because it's a lot of fun becoming other people, becoming other characters. So I try to help them realize that it's not as difficult as they think. Most people overthink that type of thing. And so I get people out of themselves so that they're not overthinking, and they can just have fun with it. Because that's the whole idea. It's just fun. And it should be fun to work with you. It should be fun to exercise. It should be fun when they know that they're getting their body in shape, and they can start to see the results.
Yeah.
It's the same in my business. When they start to see the results, the confidence builds. They've got a brand new person.
Yeah, right. And just like you said, getting over themselves to be in the moment, to just express the fun that they're having and just be themselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a lot like purpose work, which we have in common. We're trying to get people right in their purpose.
That's true. Yeah.
And whether or not like this specific thing is the purpose, it's not as much about what it is as the purpose as getting them to their purpose.
What initially brought you to Nashville? It was music, right?
No. It actually, well, to be fair, directly associated with music because I went to Bonnaroo in 2023 with my now fiance, and we just decided to visit Nashville. Right.
Which, by the way, Regina's beautiful.
Thank you.
She's a gorgeous creature.
She is, I agree. So we came here for that. So totally I can thank music for being here. But we just visited Nashville because I have one aunt and uncle who live in Nashville proper. And we decided to visit them just on a whim, like, oh, they're here. Let's go. They invited us. And then we checked it out and we looked at it and we were looking at kind of the culture. Because right now, both of us have a lot of intention in what we do. And we have been working on settling, but we didn't want to settle before we were ready to settle. So that was true for each of us, and it's true for our work. And so what happened was we looked at Nashville, and we saw a great yoga community. We saw food that was getting really healthy. So like actually really good organic food, farmers markets, even like Whole Foods is here. Trader Joe's has, organic food. And then their care for water. There's a lot of people here who filter water, and it's a care for water, which is very important. And so because of all of what we had seen in just a few days, we thought about how we had been considering moving somewhere else, but we'd never really been we're ready to go. And when we looked at each other, just kind of one of those moments is like, are you feeling what I'm feeling? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the reason we moved here was actually for our work.
Okay.
So it was to build up my fitness center and for Regina to do real estate now, and eventually she'll be teaching. So she does yoga work, and she's actually a trained clairvoyant and ordained minister. So we both have similar, we work in the spiritual world too.
Okay.
Divinity and all that. Right. So basically, the experience of Nashville being the one for me, I've lived in Germany, London, I've lived in Austin, Texas, Boston, and the West Coast, Southern and Northern California. Mm-hmm. Nashville is it's the health care center of the country, but health care means more like sick care, as in get people to the doctor, give them medication, right?
Yeah.
So when I saw this going on, I was like, well, I want to bring health, and I also want to bring health to health care. So there's a little bit of I'm here to make a statement.
Yeah.
Bring as much expertise as I can bring. I don't like to call myself an expert, but I've done this for 14 years almost, and it's my passion. I love it. So it's this thing where I can bring it. And at first we were going to have the center be on water, but the mosquitoes here are gunslingers, so we're that's not going to work. And then we thought about having a dadu, separate house where there's usually they'll rent it out for Airbnb. And then we didn't find that spot in the right area. So Regina said, how about if there's high enough ceilings? So we visited this one house in Bellevue, and the ceilings were 8 feet tall, and it had been a renovated garage. And I was like, I'll do it here. Mm-hmm. So literally got the house August 29th of last year, made the center in 5 weeks, and so I've been open since October 3rd, specifically because of Nashville being a healthy place, the health care center of the country, and also we love the people.
Yeah, very good. Very good. It sounds like we both married up.
Oh, yeah. Well, better half.
Yeah, that's true. My wife and her artwork. Well, you've seen it over at Sweetwater's.
I've seen it, yeah.
We met at Sweetwater's.
We met at Sweetwater's, and I go there still, and I'm like, I know the other artist there, but I remember Lori's art was there, and now I see it all over this house, so I'm like, home sweet home.
Yeah. Welcome home.
Oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm. So what gives you the most joy in your work?
The most joy is definitely similar to you, where somebody notices what they really want out of life And it helps that the thing that I offer is the catalyst. So being able to say, I want this body or this type of fitness experience because of this bigger goal. So for example, I had a guy who came to me looking for some work, and he wanted to get more fit because he'd kind of fallen off the wagon and decided that like it was time to get back on and like become fit again. And I asked him in one of these sessions, which is I call like mind-body connection sessions, the first half hour, what if you could have anything, what would you want? And he said to be able to travel anywhere at any time. So logistically and pragmatically, that kind of ended in a discussion of like, okay, so that means you need to be able to be a manager where you can have other people work for you. So you can have time. You need to have enough money for that and a company that's big enough where you can do that, and be able to have a body that is fit enough to be able to get you places, but also limber enough that you can move. So strong, limber, and that is specifically a kind of strength training. So like, just a quick sidetrack, it might sound at first like what I offer is kind of like just talking, but that is just the first half hour, and the next hour is precise nutrition fitness work. It's based on either fat loss, muscle mass, lean muscle mass gain called hypertrophy, strength training, or conditioning. Right? It's one of those four. It's broken down into one of those four. So his ended up being strength training in the gym so that he can travel anywhere at any time. So it becomes the catalyst in our gym work to be able to do his dream, which is travel anywhere all the time. So for me, it's like he can do that because every day he's working with me and I'm giving him the program that gets his body to be limber, strong, feels good, and then he can go out and live his dream.
So when somebody comes in and works with you and they tell you what they want to accomplish, so do you go to work on a plan for them before they actually come into their first session?
Good question. So it's very specific. So like the very first thing is a phone consult, because we need to make sure that we have rapport, right?
Yeah.
Know what they want, know that I can help them, know that they want from me what I can offer. And so then we decide, okay, we're going to work together. Now I'm going to send you some questionnaires. They take about 20, 30 minutes if they're taking their time. And once I get the questionnaires, I write out a graph of where they are on this questionnaire, basically wellness questionnaire, and primal pattern, meaning their metabolic types. So I see what kind of a body they are, what kind of metabolism they have, what, proteins versus carbs versus fats, and then where their stress levels are, basically. So noticing all that, they come in, and then we do a physical assessment. So I see this is an hour and a half. I see the way their spine moves or stands on a plumb line. I see them move 7 different movements. So this is called FMS. Basically, I'm seeing them do the basic things that a body should do. So like lunging, standing on one leg, squatting, things that their body should be able to do. And if they can't, and there's pain, then I know that I can't do that, and I can't program that yet, right? I want to get them there because it's very foundational.
Okay.
And then once I've seen them do all that, and then I know what they want, I make a program based on the combination of what they need and what they want.
Okay.
And those are 6-week programs. So things change every 6 weeks, sometimes every 3, up to every 8, depending on how the person responds.
So at the end of the 6 or 8 weeks, do you just let them go, or do they come back periodically for more?
It obviously depends, but anywhere between one program of 6 weeks, and I had somebody work with me for 12 years. So like,
okay,
my preference is people that I work with for a long time because I can see them move forward.
Sure.
And obviously I know them well. My model is not mass. My model is quality.
But essentially in 6 to 8 weeks, you've given them a program and you've given them a mindset to be able to continue a lot of this on their own.
Totally. And that's actually one of the things I say to them is like, I want to be able to train you so that you never need me.
Okay.
But of course, because of my knowledge, you know, it becomes like, well, he can get me there faster. And obviously there's things like undulating programmation. Like a lot of people think of like linear progress.
Yeah.
You don't want linear because obviously that will break.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to be able to lift 1,000 pounds ever.
Right.
So undulation is one of the key ways that programming works, for example, and most people don't know how to do that. Undulation is a percentage. Usually it's like up 8%, down 2%, up 8%, but that's like a minimum, for example.
Yeah.
One program is 6 weeks, and they could do that forever. And if they just did undulation like 2 to 8%, they could do that. But again, goals change, bodies change, things happen. And so like being able to come back helps a lot.
In my business, a second pair of ears is vital to helping you to move forward, because I can help people to get to that point much faster than they could on their own. And they might not be able to do it on their own because they're not having that second pair of ears to help them move forward.
Right, and you can see it right now. Like, I wouldn't know how to do this, but for you, it's second nature because you've done it so many times. So these are the things that we do, right? We're offering our knowledge so that people can have it better and then do it better and feel good about it.
Sure. And I'd like to encourage anybody out there who's interested in voiceover, corporate narration, character voices, audiobooks, that type of thing, get in touch with me. And I've been showing our contact information at the bottom of the screen as things go, and you can see it there right now. So if you're looking to get fit, this is the guy to do it with. I really highly recommend him. He's really behind everything he says. I went over to see his facility, and it is an amazing place. It's built in his home, but this section that you're in, it's like another world. It's a world. You know, I could get well in here. I could get physically fit in here. So be sure to check out Tycho.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a little bit more about like your project specifically, right? I'm sure that there are like some projects that stick out to you and you're like, this is kind of a quintessential example of like what makes me satisfied. So do you have maybe one or two where you're like, this is what I mean? Because then somebody can be like, oh, I'm kind of like that. And then they can be drawn to you.
Sure. You know, I think there are times throughout my voiceover career where there were some things that I was just especially proud of or happy to do. I've actually recorded the Bible 3 times. I've recorded the Complete Holy Bible with James Earl Jones and John Sherberg, a Messianic Jew. He lived here in Nashville. He has since passed away. We really miss John. Working for Disney, the Disney Channel, PBS Kids, it was really an experience to see the drawings that they would bring in. They'd say, here are the characters, these are what the characters look like, what should that character sound like, and actually coming up with a voice for that character and them accepting what you came up with. Oh, that is that character. You know, that's really rewarding, especially when you can record today and then you see the cartoon in a month or two. You go, oh my gosh, that's me. I think it's a great sense of satisfaction when you see the results of what you've done.
Oh, yeah.
And see, it works right across the table for you and for me. And I love to see my students become successful. MoJoe Thursday is a day here in Nashville. It's at Sweetwater's Coffee where we meet from 9 to 10 on the third Thursday of each month. And voice actors sit around this big conference table and we talk about issues or finding work or problems with gear or how to fix this, how to fix that. How should I approach this job? How should I approach that one? It's a great time, and you're all invited to come. Anybody who's interested in voiceover, please join us on MoJoe Thursday, the third Thursday of each month at Sweetwater's Coffee in Nashville, Tennessee.
So basically, the experience of seeing people come to a success and things like the picture come to a personified experience where like you used a voice and all of a sudden it became alive. That's like that's the meat of your experience of satisfaction?
I help people to read the script ahead of time, to figure out where they fit in. If there's a script that you're not comfortable with, then why be you? You're an opportunity to become someone else. I've worked with a lot of people who have been actors. So actors are easier to work with because they're used to getting into other characters. But people who just want to do voiceover because somebody told them they had a good voice.
Right.
And generally, that's why they wind up with me to begin with, because someone told them they have a good voice and they should be doing something with it. I said, well, you have a good voice, but do you know how to use it?
And do you want to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to find that energy and that spark within somebody that's got it and they're getting what you're saying to them, that's just where the reward comes back.
Oh my God, this is like a purpose thing.
The students that have become quite successful at this and are now full-time voice actors, they love the fact that they can work from home, set their own hours. I've got plenty of time to smell the roses. I've got time. I can call my own shots. I can go off and be with a friend if someone's going through something, some issues or something like that. I can go have coffee with them or lunch, and I've got time for that. And that's what life is all about, I think, is being happy with what you love. If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Amen. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's why we do what we do.
Right.
We have that in common. That's why one reason why this is so much fun to talk to you, Joe, is like we both feel each other's hearts. Mm-hmm. Right? And this is the element of what we're doing, is like bringing heart into our work.
Yeah.
I think that in the end, when we look at the world, the element of heart is the most difficult thing to see lost, right? So when we bring the heart into it and we're doing it because we really want to, because we connect through our heart, then it matters. And so like for me, the idea of this is like in the general sense, like bringing heart to fitness, and you're bringing heart to voiceover coaching.
Yeah. Do you have any final words you'd like to leave us with?
I would love to just share 2 success stories because they're fun.
Great.
So 3 years ago, I started this around then, and this guy, 42 years old, in 3 weeks, he actually increased his trap bar deadlift, which is deadlift with hands on the side instead of on the front, 75%, and he lost 8% body fat with this work. And for anybody that knows fitness, that's insane. But because of this work that I do, it's so capable, and you just know that you want it, so your body adjusts and does it with you. So you're working mind and body connected. Another thing I want to share is a woman who was 45 at the time. We'd actually been working together for 10 years, so she was my longest term client. And she had had a tummy tuck 10 years before. We were hitting a plateau. And when I added this mind-body connection work, she lost in 6 weeks 7.9% body fat and 8.6 pounds. Okay. So that also is a lot. If you know these numbers, like usually you want to get about 1% in a week, and maybe a couple pounds in a week. That's like really good. This is more than that. So this is just an example of how this stuff can work. And there's no, you call it a hack, but it's not like people, taking these shots, right? There's like a whole epidemic now of like Ozempic and like peptide stacking and like all these shots, right? It's like, no, I want people to be happy because they are doing it. Yeah. And when they know deep down that they really want it, then the body just follows.
And unlike Ozempic, no side effects.
Exactly. Except for happiness. So that's the thing, is like you can see these, those are 2 numbers of a man and a woman, because I equally work with both. It's like people between 25 and 55 are my bullseye avatar that are really busy. And so people who say they're busy, I give them what I say is permanent fitness results in half the time, so that they can experience what they want without having to spend too much time, because I've created this unique modality. Nobody else in the fitness industry does this. People do both things, but I put them together in Nashville specifically. So if you're busy, I say successful, so like even a lawyer, real estate, musician, these are all people who are busy and want the fitness goals that they've had. So maybe even a former athlete is another one. They can get these goals that they want in half the time, sometimes even less than that. But it's possible if you're willing to work through things for that half an hour, and then I give you these precise programs, and those are just numbers to show you like this stuff is pretty incredible, and I love that I do this, and it's worked for me, and that's why I offer it to other people.
Very good. For me, in my closing, I'd like to just let people know that I've started another channel. It's called MoJoe TV, MoJoeTV.com. You can go there to check it out. I found that a lot of voice actors, they have good intentions of getting started, but within the first 6 months, they may have fallen out of love with voice acting, just waiting for that first job to come in, learning how to do the software. So I started MoJoe TV with lots of learning videos and also ebooks ebooks to help you stay motivated while you're building your voiceover business and to stay in there long enough to experience some success. So be sure to check out MoJoeTV.com.
Yeah, Joe. And I'll do the same thing with my business. So it's ICGAINZ.com. You'll see that. But my Instagram also shows a video in the who and what section of who it's for and then what the place looks like. So it's a video of my center. And I created my center. It's in Bellevue, which is about 18 minutes southwest of downtown Nashville. As you know, you've been there. And I have availability for 2, maybe 3 people right now. I basically don't take on a big load because I want quality, and it's like one-on-one, very direct one-on-one private work. No Zoom. It's only in person. So I'm doing this quality over quantity, and I'm doing my best to change the fitness industry to make people realize that like heart needs to be in it. My prayer for everyone through this podcast and through our experience of just talking together and connecting is like, I hope that everyone can feel their purpose and their happiness in their life. And if you need some help from a voiceover coach or a fitness coach who can do these things with their expertise, we're here for you.
Well, that's all we've got today from
Sound Body,
Sound Voice.